Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Killer Collab Podcast. Once again, my name is Tone Deaf from Florida, Tony D. As always, I'm joined with Chris Lato from Reaper Film.
How y'all doing?
Chris, Lightning Man.
How about those Tampa Bay Lightning?
How about that football game? Oh, that was hockey. Never mind, that was hockey. And ladies and gentlemen, we are joined by a very special guest. I've known this gentleman for quite a long time. I think it's been almost 10 years now. I think 2011.
At least 10 years, yes, sir.
My friend Shawn Singletary, how we doing today?
Doing all right. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it, Jim.
Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for coming on.
Certainly.
Oh man, it looks pretty nice out where you are. You're in Atlanta.
I am. I'm in beautiful Atlanta, Georgia. The weather's pretty much about 80-something degrees. Nice cool breeze. It just rained a little bit, so doing all right.
80. I wish it was 80 here.
Mid-90s.
Yeah, it's like 1,000 degrees here.
It rains every day.
I know.
Tampa, Florida is
Steam.
yeah, that's pretty much what it is.
Steamy.
It's crazy. Oh man, the actor's life. How's that actor's life treating you, my friend?
It is full of its typical ups and downs. I'm actually in the process of waiting on hearing back from another audition again. My agent sent me out something, but the grind has been kind of difficult. Of course, with the recent pandemic,
Yes.
it kind of set everything offset everything for a bit. But of course, with new COVID protocols and everything else, people get tested regularly. Just staying on top of the grind. I've tried to do a lot more behind the scenes stuff lately too, so I'm still writing some scripts and working as an assistant director on a couple small projects here and there too. So try to keep my chops.
Oh, but what's your genre that you tend to stay with, or do you have like one particular genre, or do you do multiple different variations?
It's usually multiple variations. I don't do a lot of comedy. I usually do a lot of like maybe thrillers, a lot of dramas, and so on and so forth. Psychological thrillers are probably one of my personal favorite.
Awesome.
Anyway, so
Awesome.
that's what I usually try to gear myself towards.
Now, what was your most recent role that you jumped into that you had an opportunity to do? What was your most recent project?
My most recent project was actually as behind the scenes. I was the assistant director on a couple of small film projects that we worked on out in New York, and then that kind of worked into me working into some other smaller projects just here and there. I'd do some cameos on some other little shows here and there, and then one of my other side passions that I've been working on that's kind of starting to build up a little bit is I've been doing a lot of life coaching here and there. So one of my friends said I had a very unique perspective on life, and I never thought so, but they said, you should try and speak to some people about doing some life coaching. So I've been working with an actual licensed therapist, and she's been kind of directing and guiding me along the path. And then I've gotten a couple clients here and there, helping either relationships and so on. I'm supposed to be on a relationship panel coming up here soon in the middle of July. So, yeah, like I said, it runs the gambit. I'm doing quite a few things. So,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, no, we all know. I mean, I think we all need life coaches at some point, especially in this industry where it's very difficult for us to, we have a lot of ups and downs. So we have to have an opportunity to, keep our, everything up and going. Like, we need a positive outlook on a lot of different things because, we will get kicked down a lot in this industry. We go for auditions and we get a lot of no's. You'll get 1,000 no's before you get 5 yeses. So it's
one. Yep.
So it's something that, people don't think about. They think about, people just getting offered roles. Like people don't understand our industry where the difficulties in, navigating through this difficult industry. And it's just, it's really crazy how people just assume things, especially
Right.
depending on their star power or based on ratings on IMDb. Like a lot of people use that star meter like it's their Bible, and that's how they cast people. But that's not how
That's
it works.
not always the best way.
No, it's not, because they can literally search themselves and raise that star meter, because that's basically how it's not rated on what they're doing. It's rated on how many people are searching for them. That's basically how that star meter works. So, it's very difficult to, do it on that. Chris, do you when you do movies, do you use that at all? Star meter? No. Yeah.
I go based on what I've seen them in, and just what I know of them, like some of the work that I've seen of them. I'll watch something. I'll be like, oh man, I need to work with her. And
Mhm.
I mean, that happened. I used to run a film festival, and I had a submission. It was a short film from this guy in North Carolina, and it was like a film, like a neo noir type old 1920s gangster style movie, black and white. And there was this girl that was just like, you couldn't take your eyes off her. Like, she was amazing. And it was a 10-15 minute movie. And I mean, she was just fantastic. And I made it a point that I needed to work with her someday. And I did. She was in my movie Seeing Evil that we shot, 5 years ago.
Wow.
But yeah, I mean, that's typically how I approach that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the process is, we all have our own ways. We all have our own ways. Now, you're also producing, aren't you, Shawn? Producing some
Yeah,
stuff?
I've been working on a couple of little things here. As a matter of fact, we're working on one right now. We were trying to bring it down from New York down to Atlanta. We're trying to work on all the legality and the particulars that have to go into that. And you know how that goes. Sometimes
Yep.
you can have everything lined up and it'll just be one piece that's off, and then you got to deal with the
Right.
politics and then the taxes and so on and so forth. So
Sure.
Yes. Yeah.
still waiting to see what happens with that. So, but yeah, and I definitely want to say, Chris, from an actor standpoint, that's greatly appreciated. Sometimes it's frustrating from an actor standpoint to have to put in all the work, go to the classes, do all the hard work, and then just to find out that you get sidetracked because they know somebody or somebody's buddy ended up in the project and they're not nearly as good as you are. So to
Right.
hear that there's still people out there that still pick you based on your merit, whether
of
it's
course.
5 minutes or 15, like that means a
Right.
lot. I appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for me, looks plays a big part of it too. I hate to say that, but
Yeah.
if I see somebody that looks the role, I'll invite them to audition. I'll say, hey, you interested in auditioning? Here's the sides. If you want to send a video in,
Yeah.
I'll do that too. Actually, my theory is based on, there was a movie called Sorority Row that came out, a while ago. I mean, it had to have been 8,
That
10
sounds
years
familiar.
ago. 8, 10 years ago. And it's a sorority slasher movie.
Yeah.
The movie
Yeah.
was
Yeah. I
the
remember
movie was god awful. Like, it was just a terrible, terrible movie. But the girls in the movie were so attractive that it kept
Yeah.
you watching it. And this was before I started making movies. And I was like, man, like, even if your movie's really shitty, at least the girls were really attractive and kept your interest. You know what I mean?
That's
I know
business.
it's very shallow.
It is. Sex sells.
It's very
Sex sells.
shallow to say that.
That's
and
the fact.
kind of
It's
embarrassed to say that.
It
but
is. It is. You don't think it's a coincidence that people are wearing bikinis in Burger King commercials? Like,
Yeah.
come on.
and it's funny because since then, every movie I've ever made since then, I mean, I always have a lot of attractive people in the movie.
And then you have me in the movie.
That's a little
like
ridiculous.
I don't
we
say
have Tony. But yeah, I made a movie called Crazy Lake about 6 years ago, and I mean, we had a beautiful cast, guys and girls. It's not just girls, but the guys we made it a point when we were in the casting that when we set our cast, we told them we want you to be in the best shape of your entire life, and they all showed up like buff. I mean, they all looked amazing, and I mean, they were in bikinis and bathing suits with no shirts on, like literally probably 80% of the movie.
Wow.
So it was important to have them looking their best, And actually, one of the girls is in that show P Valley. That's on Stars. Her name's Skylar Joy. I think she's the only white girl in the show, actually. It's about a strip club in the Bayou, and I don't know if y'all seen it or not, but she ended up getting a main role in that
nice.
show. So
nice,
it's pretty cool.
Small world. You never know who the next big star is going to be. They can come out of anywhere.
Right.
But something that we try to emphasize is that we try to do everything in any role that you're offered. Like, I mean, with limitations, obviously, but you have to try to get more involved in like as many things as possible. Like when you and I first met, we were doing a TV show that never got off the ground, and it was just you just never know. Like, I mean, they could lead anywhere. Like anyone just saw one of our. Actually, I did. Actually, my agent in Philadelphia saw like something on YouTube. I guess from Atlas, like posted something on YouTube, and my agent saw that, and that's how I got signed to an agent. I was like, what?
Wow.
Like, what?
Go figure.
How did you
Right.
see that?
Right.
So it's
That's
straight.
all it takes, though, is one
Yeah.
person to see something that they like. And
Yeah, it's
bam,
just
you're
strange
in.
how it works. But she was in Philadelphia, so I think that was another thing. But that
Yeah.
like it's just crazy how things just happen like that. Like happen like
It's
that.
just a matter of putting
Sean,
yourself out there.
Are you working
like
on?
you said before,
No, go
like
ahead.
you said before, it's a lot. It has a lot to do too with the rejection. There's a lot of rejection. Like I
Yes.
think I read somewhere that George Clooney actually like did 200 pilots before he got discovered. Like,
Right.
can you imagine?
Before ER, yeah.
Yeah. For
It's just like
auditioning
sales
and
or
going through all that
baseball.
stuff.
I mean,
Yeah.
think about it. Baseball, you can strike out 7 times out of 10 and get 3 hits, and you're a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, 300
Yep.
average. That's fantastic. A 300 average.
I mean,
That's
So-
true.
if you think about it, they failed 7 times,
Yeah.
and they're a Hall of
Yeah.
Famer. So
Yeah.
it's just the way it is. The more it's a numbers game, and just like sales, the more people you talk to, the more things you audition for, the more roles you're going to get.
More wrong. Yeah.
So I know we say it every show, Tony, but I always tell young actors in our area, I believe Tampa is a good area to get started, and then once you've gained some experience and got some credits, then I always say move to either Atlanta or LA just to get in the middle of everything, But I always tell young actors, get in everything that you can possibly get in. Any role,
Build
no
that
matter
reel.
if it's paid or not paid, or
Build that real.
however big your role is, just take it. Just get in whatever you can.
Yeah.
Whether it's a real bad movie or a great movie, just get as much as you can.
Oh yeah, just think about all the bad movies that big stars have been in. Like, look at Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 with Matthew McConaughey.
Sure.
Like, come on, that movie was terrible.
Because I mean, all directors are different. I mean, they
Yeah.
all have their different styles, and it's good to be able to be on set with different types of directors and other actors too. To feed off of, and you can learn things, and just getting comfortable on set. I guess very important before you make the leap to the
the
bigger stuff.
Actors Network is very we go through the same, like, it's like being like war buddies pretty much. You're in, like, trapped with this person for months at a time, and you're like, man, when the hell is this movie over? Like, but you build that network of people, and that's how a lot of movies actually build up. Like, look at Broken Lizard, the comedians that wrote the Super Troopers, all those movies, Super Troopers, Broken Lizard, with Club Dread. They were a powerhouse in the 90s and early 2000s when they were brought out the Super Troopers and everything like that. So you never know who you're going to meet on the next movie or the next movie. You can find a lifelong friend or a lifelong partner just working on these movies where you just built. Like, I met Chris a couple years back. I auditioned for one of his movies, and literally that's how we met. So we just created it. Like, I just jumped into that network, and then we just start building more projects, and the rest is history. But I would like to build up a little bit more future, which is why I started this whole company. But that's So I'm doing as many things as I possibly can in this company. So, like I said, we just got to keep rolling, just like that. And I'm still behind on I haven't had any auditions for a very long time. So, my agent's slacking. So I got to get that agent down here somewhere.
Shawn, do you work on bigger budget stuff, or are you mostly movies,
the biggest
TV?
budget stuff that I've done was the most recent one was when I was in Imperium a while back. It was with Daniel Radcliffe. I think it was like 2016 when that one came out. That was a fantastic opportunity. The most recent, like I said, that audition that I just did recently is for another big budget film too. But I'm still waiting to see what's gonna happen with that. I literally just auditioned for that. I think it was Friday, and I'm still waiting to hear back from them on that. So my agent was super excited about it. I would end up playing like a younger version of the guy that played Papa Pope on Scandal. So crossing my fingers for that to see what happens.
How was Daniel Radcliffe to work with? Did you get to meet him?
Daniel Radcliffe is actually the scene that I had with him was it was just me and him, and I had lines, so it was like it was just basically like me and him on set all day. So and much like he said, Tony V said, like, you end up making these lifelong friends. I met a lot of really cool people there. The producer and I are still really close. I got to chit chat with not only Daniel Radcliffe, but like his special force. He had a bodyguard who was straight out of British Special Forces.
Wow.
And so I got to chit-chatting with him for a little bit. And I was like, is he like this all the time? He's like, yeah, he's the chillest dude I've ever met. Like, he's really, really cool, really nice.
I feel like he's taking all of these like really weird roles so he could break out of the Harry Potter thing. And
Yes.
because he's been in some weird ass movies.
Yes.
You got Horns and Swiss Army Man and
Swiss Army Man. Yeah.
That movie was so weird.
He did the other horror movie. What was that movie?
He did the Woman in the
Woman in Black.
The Woman in Black.
Woman in Black. Yep.
That was pretty weird.
Yeah, that was actually a good movie.
Yeah, it was.
But like Swiss Army Man, I don't know if you saw it, but
yeah, I never
weird.
understood that. But I think at the same, and there were a lot of Broadway stuff he did too, where he was like, there was one show he was like naked on stage for like the whole time.
Right.
Yep.
I was like, what are you doing? Like, so yeah,
I think he's just trying to break out of the Harry Potter thing.
Yeah.
And like, it must suck. I mean, it's a double-edged sword when you become an icon, like that, because you made it big because of this person's, because of this role, but now everybody perceives you as that role now, and it's hard to break out of that. Right. God, he did what, 7 movies?
8, yeah. Well,
Harry Potter.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's Harry Potter.
Well, he grew up in before our eyes on screen. So like,
right on screen.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, and all the behind the scenes, pretty much, they literally like videoed his entire life just behind the scenes, in front of the camera. Like he was always in front of the camera. So now he's just trying to.
Like the whole cast too. I mean, Emma Watson really hasn't done much after that. I mean, she was in a couple movies, but she hasn't really done a whole lot,
which is surprising because she's very talented.
Yeah, I mean, that's really surprising.
I saw the Ron Weasley character. What was his name? I don't remember his name, but I think the most recent thing I saw him in was an Ed Sheeran music video. I haven't seen him. Oh, and I think he was in the Snatch TV series. He did that. He did that.
I know they had a TV series.
Yeah, it's on Hulu, I think.
Huh.
Well, it's one of those.
Wow.
But that's that's what happens with child actors. A lot of times they just either fizzle out or they try to do what Daniel Radcliffe's doing. He's just trying to, broaden his category or his
resume. He's spread it out a lot.
Yeah, and I think that he's just trying to show what else he can do.
Right.
He's not just the child actor. He's more dramatic. He's more pushing the boundaries. He's more he's just all over the place, but he's just building his talents throughout. And I think he's doing it the right way. Honestly, I think he's just showing his talents, like what he can do, and all this years of training of growing up in front of the camera. He's just I think he's just being him. Honestly, I just think I think his personality is just every piece of these roles that he's been getting into, and I think that's appropriate. Like I think he has the very luxury of choosing like his roles, because I think people are just offering him stuff left and right. Honestly, I think that's just ultimately what he's doing, and I don't think he's going to do another Harry Potter like long. No. I don't think he's going to do any like sequels anymore. I think he's just going to do a lot of one-offs and just do as many different characters as possible, kind of like a Shia LaBeouf, but not off the edge. Right. You know what I mean? Shia LaBeouf tried to do the same exact thing, child actor, and he just went off the edge for a little while, and then he started to get. Like
he's had some amazing roles lately.
Yeah. The only thing I have about him, he's a method actor.
Yeah.
Like he's like I think he was abusing his girlfriend at some point. I think there was an article that he was abusing his girlfriend because he was preparing for the tax collector. Right. So I think that's how method. Yes. So I think he was so method. Yeah. So I don't know. Are you a method actor? How do you prepare for a role?
I wouldn't say I'm as stern a method actor for that. But what I do is very similar in the sense that I put myself in the position of whoever the character is, and then I ask myself all of the things that motivate me, because I earnestly believe, and this is how I life coach too. I think when you firmly understand what people's intentions are and what their motivations are, that's how you get to know who they really are. So then I ask myself, what is this character's actual motivation that you might not see on screen? Like, for instance, when you see people like the Joker, when you're younger, you just think, oh, he's the bad guy and that's who Batman is chasing. But when you really understand his motivation, you understand that the Joker's not necessarily a bad guy. He just wants the world to change and be honest about itself.
Yeah.
Right.
So I try to be the character and then make that character be honest about themselves. Right. And it when I hear people, talk about actors, they're like, oh, well, actors are always pretending. And I'm like, no, the best actors aren't pretending. They're being themselves. Mm-hmm. If themselves were in a particular situation.
Yes.
So they have a very broad-based imagination, But like if you look at Denzel Washington, he's the exact same person in every single character that he plays.
Yeah.
He just he's just that person if that person were a drug dealer or if that person were a bank robber. You know what I'm saying? So he's always Denzel Washington, just with a different name, born in a different in a different situation, same body. So that's how I carry it.
So I don't act. So I'm like, sometimes I'm interested in how actors get into their characters and stuff, because I think actors are weird. No offense.
You're right.
No offense, but
no, you're
they're
right.
Weird. And I mean, I've been on set and I've been looking at people. I'm like, what the hell are they doing? And they're like doing all these weird exercises and stuff to get into character.
Oh yeah.
I'll never forget my first movie. I cast this girl. She was in the Lingerie Football League. Remember the Lingerie Football League?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was in the Lingerie Football League, and that was brand new to Tampa. And so I was like, man, this girl's gonna make our movie big and all this stuff, right? It didn't, but anyway. So I'm directing, and we're getting the scene set up, and she's over in the corner, and she's crying. And I walked over to her. I'm like, are you all right? She was like, yeah, I'm just trying to get into character for the scene. And I was like, oh yeah, it's a crazy scene. I forgot. Never mind. Sorry. I just kind of left her alone. But I find it interesting how actors have different things that they do to get prepared for the scene. And I've learned over the years to just leave them alone and let them do their thing.
Let them process.
Let them process.
Yep.
Now the danger is sometimes I think you really, as an actor, to be a really good actor, you need to know yourself. You need to know, you need to have a very firm understanding of who you are and have a very good filing system of all of your experiences so that you can access them appropriately when it's time to use those memories in order to propel a specific feeling. Like when I'm angry, I have to find those moments in my life when I've been angry. So like, for instance, right before I step on scene, it might not have anything to do with the script, but I remember those moments where I was the most angry in preparation to get my character angry. So that way I can then, it's not just the words that come out of my mouth or how loud I am, but it's the way that I say it and the energy that I project on screen that makes the difference between those who are just pretending and those who are legitimately acting. And I think that's what makes the difference, is when you actually know enough about yourself that you're able to access those emotions and those memories with it just at a whim. You know what I'm saying? From this, and I think the difficulty is when it's shutting it off. I remember one time, one of my most difficult roles, as a matter of fact, a couple of my most difficult roles was when I played a serial killer a couple times. And to get into that character and to get into that mode and to truly understand that character means that I am on a sadistic level of thought process. And then just because they say cut doesn't mean you just snap out of that. You have to kind of massage your way out of that. But that takes knowing enough about the terrain of my mindset to get out of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. And it could be a lot of people don't know their boundaries on that too, because I think that's literally what happened to, like, let's say Lindsay Lohan. Like, I think she got so much into certain characters and so much in the lifestyle that she's just.
I think she got more into just drugs.
Well, but I think that also opens your mind up.
Parents.
I think that messes with your mind so much where you start. It just snaps your mind into a different the sense of reality is gone. Like she's just went off the rails. And I think like knowing your boundaries and how to get yourself out of that is the key, because I think sometimes some of them fail. Like it's just I'm worried for Shia LaBeouf, because that's why his personality of that method. I think that method is going to be the downfall of him. Like he has a lot of ups with it, but I think it's going to be a harsh downfall if he gets too deep into one character, especially like this time. Like I said, he was beating his girlfriend. Like that's like logged. Police called on them and everything. Like it could, put him in a situation where, he's too far gone. Like he's just gone in that character until he writes another one. But he's just, I don't know how you get out of that.
Right.
Now,
well, like I said, it's just it's a scary thought process that you have to be able to appropriately navigate it, and you have to have the right team around you that understands you and knows how to pull you out of that, because like, it's a dangerous game to play around in the mind and not know yourself. No, because sometimes that fame will also become
Yes.
very addictive.
Yes.
I'm not a big fame person. I don't really care if a bunch of people know my friggin' name. I mean, that works great for my resume, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Right.
But at the end of the day, like, it's about the wanting to do the work, you know what I'm saying?
Well,
and to convey the message appropriately.
And that's
I know a lot of
something-
actors they do a lot of work, but they just, you might not know their name, but they're in like everything, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and that's what I actually really respect and love about you. Like, you don't let anything get to your head. Like, I think you're still driving the same Maxima and Mustang that you have since I met you.
You know it. I'm sitting in it right now. What are you talking about?
You know?
50,000 miles later, I still got that car. You know it.
I do know that. Like I said, that's one of the things. Like, you just, no matter what roles you're getting, no matter what, you're still gonna just do you and just, I don't see you getting a sports car or anything like that. I think the next car that you buy is gonna be another Mustang or a Maxima. I think that's what.
Yeah. Or just keep fixing on these. I got my collections up to like 4 cars. I've been tinkering with all 4 of them. I'm about to buy a 5th one so I can sell one of my other ones. Just moving into a house. I'm at my full-time job right now. I work as an engineer, so I just love tinkering and fixing stuff. And people, I see people waste a bunch of money and time and energy on stuff that just for a status. And I'm like, what? I'm not here to impress anybody. I'm out here to do what I like doing and to help as many people as I can before I leave this planet. That's all I feel.
Yeah, and that's that like I said, that's something I love about you. And since day one, that's why I've always kept contact with you. Now, the ones I don't keep contact are the ones that are flashy, who just don't don't respect the life that they're doing and don't give a shit what they're doing. Like I was like, okay, I'm done with you. Like, literally, I just but the people that I keep in my life are those people that are doing positive things, who aren't materialistic, aren't crazy. Like, but that's how I associate my people. Like Chris, he's the most down to earth person like that I hang with now.
I can tell. This is a real one.
Yeah, pretty chill.
Yeah, he doesn't do anything. I mean, what do you drive, Chris? A Volkswagen?
I just got a new car, a Volkswagen Tiguan.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, but I had a Jeep Grand Cherokee for like 10 years and had over 1 million miles on it, but it was just starting to break on me. And the AC broke, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna drop $1,000 on a car that's worth like $600. I don't think that's a good idea.
Right.
And I drive a Toyota Corolla. Like, I'm not here to do anything flashy. Like, you won't see me in a Benz or anything like that. I mean, I had one back in the day, but now I'm just I'm not even in that mode, man. I'm just trying to be comfortable. I'm trying to do what I have to do. Like, I'm working full time now too, because COVID kind of messed me up in my company. But other than that, like you just got to keep it real with yourself. You don't give a damn what anyone else is looking at, or I don't care what they say, what they're thinking. And that's something very important with these young actors nowadays, because they all want to be Instagram famous, and then they just want to a huge YouTube channel. I have a huge following. My OnlyFans, like, come on, man. but
sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, I fail on social media because people are like, well, you didn't tell me about this show that you were on, and I was like, I didn't even really think about it. You know what I'm saying? Right. I try. I let as many people as possible know, but I be so focused on wanting to be in the right mode, in the right mindset. Even for shows like this, you have to clear out your mind, because I'm not gonna lie, like 10, 15 minutes ago before I came on the show, like, I was having a full out, like, I was been out of shape about some stuff at work, but I don't want that energy to affect this energy, because this is what I'm passionate and this is what I love. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So sometimes you got to take a moment and take a couple breathers and come into it with the right mindset. And that's with everything.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Do you do more TV or movies, or do you do TV at all?
I do more movies. I've done a lot of TV in the past. I've done a lot of TV, some reenactments and stuff like that. Like I said, I did. There was a joke at the agency for a while that it seemed like I was always a serial killer, because I always fit the patterns. I played a serial killer like 4 or 5 times, but it just worked out.
But that's weird, because there's really not a lot of African American serial killers. Like, I can't even name any.
That's why it was strange.
That's very weird. I can't name any of them.
Chris, there was one time I walked in the room, and no kidding, I handed them my headshot, and the guy literally goes, he looks at me, he looks at the headshot, he looks at me, he goes, "Yep, you're hired." And I was like, "Wait, so you don't want to hear anything?" He's like, "Nah, man, you look just like the dude." And I kid you not, frightening. It was scary. Oh yeah,
That's
but that was a
funny.
good time. Yeah.
So you did a lot of shows like the crime reenactments and stuff where they
Right.
dramatize
Like
the.
Discover Channel, Ice Cold
Yeah,
Killers.
yeah, yeah.
I did a couple where I was Pretty Bad Girls, those things like that. Little
Right.
shows like yeah.
Did you enjoy doing those? They're probably just
I
quick
like
money,
doing
right?
those.
Like,
'Cause sometimes it's fun, but the characters I absolutely love are the ones that I can really get immersed in. You know what I'm saying? Like where I got some, and not just for the lines, but where you can see, like for instance, just off the top of my head, like Val Kilmer in Tombstone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That character that just sits with you forever, and they don't have to say a whole lot, but they made a huge impact on you as a person,
Right.
and they carried the movie with just that little bit. Like I love stories like that. So
It
I've been
seems like
working
those.
on.
It seems like those roles are more like just quick money and don't really showcase your talent, really, right? I mean, it's kind of like us with.
The crime reenactment ones.
Yeah.
But sometimes the only purpose for those are just to get you in the door, so people can be like,
Of course.
I can see this guy playing this character.
meet
You know
people.
what I'm saying? So that's usually what it's for.
Which goes back to get in everything you can possibly get in. You know, you meet
Absolutely.
people.
I tell people all the time, you'd be surprised that if you I like what you said earlier. Even when you get into a bad film, sometimes you can have a really beautiful performance in a bad film.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
You stand
put that
out.
on your reel.
Yep.
Yeah, you're standing out.
Done.
Yep.
And everybody's like
yeah.
taking notice of the good actor as opposed to all the bad actors.
Yeah.
You know, and they're going to be
Right.
like, "Wow, who's that guy?" You know.
Right.
Well, look at Wild Wild West. Look at that freaking hot piece of dog crap.
Right.
Well, that was one of Will Smith's earliest ones. With that thing was awful.
Terrible.
But you know what? He's one of the biggest stars on the planet.
Right.
He's one of the biggest. So
even good directors and good actors make bad movies. I mean,
that's right.
you know,
it's all based on the material. All based on the material.
But it's kind of like it's kind of like video production too. Like we do, you know, we want to make movies, but we do commercials and bullshit music videos and stuff just to pay the bills, so we can make movies. That's
right.
I guess it's the same thing for an actor. You can take commercials and stuff when you really want to be on TV or movies.
Yeah, and sometimes you got to take stuff you don't really want. I try to stay away from stuff I don't really want. I still believe you should try to be as true to yourself as possible.
Sure.
I try to stay away from a lot of super political stuff because you usually find out that like as you dig deeper, it's not that they don't have the same core values as you do.
Yeah.
Or what ends up happening is people associate you with that. And that tanks you because they're like, well, didn't I see you in this? And weren't you this? And then you're like, nah, man, I'm just an actor. All I'm doing is collecting a check.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
it's funny because you say that because one time I had just started doing video production and I had done a lot of music videos. I shot a few movies, a couple features, a few shorts, and somebody contacted me about doing a video, and they were from Arizona, and they were going to fly in, and we were going to shoot over 2 days, and the money was like really good. So I was like, all right, cool. You know, tell me more. So it turned out it was muscle porn, and this lady that looked like the Incredible Hulk came down, and we shot these movies. Like there were like little clips with her, and it was the weirdest shit. Like it was, you know, her putting this guy in a headlock and like doing bench presses with him and like all this weird stuff. And I was just like, oh my God, thank God. And it was so disgusting. Like I know people are into that, some, but I thought it was so repulsive and just disgusting. And you know, and then you got to edit all these videos, and I'm just having to watch this over and over, like 8-9 hours a day for like 2 weeks. It was horrible, but it was great money, and I ended up shooting it with my girlfriend at the time. She was in photography and stuff, so it was me and her shooting this nonsense. And you know, it's a great story now, but in the moment, man, I was just like, why did I take this job? Oh my God.
Right.
That's really funny.
But that's probably why the money was so good, because they probably got turned down by a bunch of other people before that. Like, nah.
And it was for her website. You know, they had like thumbnails where you click on the thumbnail and it shows like a little clip, and then you got to pay to be like a member or watch the rest of the video. So, I don't know.
Right.
But it was just so crazy. And that just goes to show that sometimes I'll shoot anything for money.
Yeah, well, but, I mean, if it's getting us work, especially times like now where COVID just messed with all of us, I think just
Right.
you just get.
Right.
I mean, we got bills to pay, man. We got bills to pay, so we got stuff.
Yeah.
So we got to accept whatever we can at the time. That reminds me of
I had a buddy of mine just
Yeah.
recently get on. As a matter of fact, he's still here. He came into Atlanta and stayed with me. He was shooting for the First Lady, so he's on the show right now. And that was an amazing experience for him. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes you just got. But the unfortunate thing is, like, he got in there and he had lines, and then they took the lines, and it was like, oh, come on. But like, it's a chance of a lifetime to stand next to huge name stars and
Yeah.
so on. So sometimes you take what you got, and then the experience alone. The time that he got to spend with those people meant a whole lot. Like the same thing Tony was saying, like the time that we spent together, even though that show never came out, like now I have lifelong friends that I still stay in touch with. So
Yep.
sometimes you got to take those roles just to get through the door. I don't think a lot of people can appreciate that when they see something come to fruition.
Yep.
Like like Chris, when you finish a film and it finally gets aired, like that's a huge deal
Oh, of
because
course.
it's like, man, you know how many moons have to align for that to come together, man? You know what I'm
I've
saying?
always said any movie or TV show that comes out is a miracle. It's an absolute miracle that anything gets made. Based on all the hoops you have to jump through, you got to get 15, 20 people in the same place at the same time, and they got to know their lines, and you got the camera guy that's got to get the shots. Like, it's just so many things that come into play to make something, and it's just a miracle that it happens. But we make it happen.
Yeah, we are miracle workers, my friend. Miracle workers.
We made 2 movies. We made 2 features during the pandemic since June, and they're both already out. We just released our last one a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Nice.
But we did one movie, the one Tony worked on.
I worked on all of them.
So I work with this guy named Shawn, and I met him when I was doing my very first casting call for my very first movie. I met him, and we've just been friends since, and we've made a bunch of stuff together. And so he called me, and he was like, "Hey, I got an idea for a movie. There's nothing going on. Like, everybody's locked down. We're not doing anything. Why don't we try and get it made?" And I was like, "All right, cool." So he told me the synopsis and what he was thinking. And from the time we hung the phone up, 90 days later, we had a Blu-ray in our hand. Yeah, so it was pretty amazing.
Well, there was nothing else going on. We were literally stuck in the house.
Yeah,
so he had all the time in the world.
When you have nothing else to do to make a movie.
All the time in the world.
You go pretty quick.
Yeah.
But that's still saying a lot, because like everybody else was making excuses like, oh, we can't do anything because of X, Y, and Z. So to know that you guys, like, from like inception to like from concept to actually like having it physically in your hand, like that's bananas.
Yeah,
a lot
crazy.
of people were stuck and didn't know what to do. So that's
me and Shawn are always talking. We're like, I don't think anybody can do what we just did.
Yeah.
well, we just made another movie that's based on. You've seen Pulp Fiction. Tony hates Pulp Fiction, but it was about the pawn shop owners in Pulp Fiction, the guys that raped Marsalis and stuff. So we made a movie called Zed's Dead, and it's about the 2 pawn shop owners. And we made that film. It's a feature, $1,100. We built a pawn shop. We got actors, special effects, like everything. $1,100. We made that movie.
Bananas.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It was a quick process too. I think it was 5-6 days.
Yeah, we shot over 6 days. I think
6-day process.
6 days.
But we like worked on a few projects. This is 1, 2, 3, 4 projects together. So we were very in tune of what we all expect from each other, what we do. Like, we pick up, move, and go to the next scene. Like,
small crew, small cast. When I first started, it was funny because when I first started, like my second movie, I had 41 actors, 19 locations, $3,000 budget, and that's just insane. And then we did Delta Pi, and I think Delta Pi we had more actors and like 17 locations, and we had, I think, $7,000 for that one. But it's a challenge to be able to do that. And now we've learned, we were shooting on weekends, like Saturdays and Sundays only, for like 2 months. Now we've gotten to where our stuff is more formula driven, where
Right.
we're small cast, small crew, you know, $2,000-3,000, couple locations, and it's formula based. Like we need to show boobs or blood every 10 minutes.
Yeah, pretty much.
And that's kind of what's working for us now. Like we're making a profit on all our movies. We've built like a fan base that wants that, and you know, we've kind of learned to make the movies based on what our people want. So is it what I really want to be doing? Not really, but it's fun. You know, we're meeting a lot of new people. We're getting content out there. We're making a little bit of money here and there. You know, I really want to work on bigger budget, you know, horror movies, but for the time being, it's cool.
Yeah.
I enjoy it, and
well, you got to pay the bills. But and then if the formula works, the formula works. But you could do that in conjunction with your bigger project, like.
Right.
So
exactly,
I think that's what the ultimate goal is for all of us. I think we all have something that or certain projects that we want to work on. But
sure,
you know,
and I've worked on, you know, I've directed 2 bigger budget stuff, and I didn't have as much fun as I do on the smaller stuff. You know, I felt like there was just too many crew members, and just I didn't really do much as a director.
Yeah.
I don't think you really do a whole lot. You just have all these people that know what they're doing, and they just do it for you.
They just do it for you.
Where when
you
you're
sit back and point and shoot.
Yeah, exactly. I watch a scene and I'm like, all right, cool, let's move on, you know, or whatever. Let's do it again. But on the smaller stuff, you know, you have to wear so many hats that it's more enjoyable for me. And my first bigger budget movie, I was so used to doing everything that I had a really hard time letting go of certain things. Yeah, like the budget and the schedule and all that stuff. I was so used to doing that. I had a really difficult time letting that go and letting others do that. But I did, and I was like, all right, it's cool. And then now I'm kind of back where I was doing the smaller stuff. Because I like it. It's fun.
It's more fun with the small. It's like we were talking about before. Like you know, we meet like lifelong friends. Like I said, I met you 10 years ago. I've worked with them for I don't know what 4 or 5 years now. I think. When did we work on
3 years?
3 years. And you just never know when you're going to meet those people that you know you're going to be working with or knowing or you know friends with for a period of time. And you just never know. That's what I love about our industry, where you know we're trying to our community of you know independent movie makers or independent actors who work on who are just you know we're not starving artists, but you know we would like the big pots, but you know what we got a lot of little ponds that we want to you know take care of and move on. And sometimes we bring a group of people. And that's how we move to the bigger ponds and bigger lakes. And
the other thing that's cool is I've worked with so many people over the last 10 years that I can literally build a cast or a crew based on who I've worked with in the past, you know, and it doesn't take very long to build that. I know who can do what and who can't do what, and you know, handpick who I want. So that's cool that I've gotten to. I feel blessed that I've been able to make so many movies and work with so many people. And I mean, God, I've launched so many people's like acting careers. I feel, you know, that were in my movie and then moved to LA and now they're in bigger stuff. And like I said, Skylar is in P Valley, which I think they just got picked up for another season. So that's I get a kick out of seeing people that I worked with before doing, you know, something that I saw on TV. I get a kick out of that.
You know what, and I think the important thing to remember too is, and I tell a lot of actors this too, that never discredit the lessons that you learn on every project, because I earnestly believe you can learn from every project you're on, whether the project sucked or whether the project was absolutely phenomenal and everything worked out smoothly. You can take away the lessons of when I go to do my project, I need to do X, Y, and Z, and I need to make sure I don't do this, this, and this. You know what I'm saying? So I tell everybody now, no matter whether you're in front of the camera or behind the camera, whatever it is you're doing, make sure you pick up those lessons and write those things down, and then go from there. I'm pretty sure, you know, Tony, you and I know for a fact there are a lot of things that we've taken away from our experience and said, well, we're not going to do that part. We'll certainly do this, this, and this. You know what I'm saying?
That's usually what you learn is what not to do. You know, and not make that mistake again. I know my first movie I made, I didn't know anything about making movies. I was just like enamored with the process, and I was always watching behind the scenes, and I had wanted to make a movie for years. And I finally decided when I was 40 years old, I said, you know what? I'm going to do this. I don't want to be on my deathbed saying, man, I wish I had tried this.
I wish I would have. Yep.
And I put this whole thing together by myself, and we started shooting. And actually, I met Shawn, and he helped me. And the movie's terrible. I mean, it's not good, but I learned that was my film school. My first feature was my film school, and
Nice.
I learned so much. And then from then on, I always surrounded myself with people that know way more than I do, and just pick things from everybody and just learn from every single person around me. And it really helps. And you always get a lesson on any project.
And there's a lot of things that you learn from other people that you won't learn at a film school. Like, you and I have different processes. How we do run lines, or how we learn a character. Like you get more into the mind of that person. Me, I try to relate to the person. It's hard for me to get into the mind. I don't know why, but I don't get that many roles with where I have to go too far in depth. I don't have a lot of backstory to a lot of the roles that I do. I did like commercials and I haven't done any like big movies or anything like that. Or TV shows.
What are you talking about? You are Naked Cannibal Campers.
Yeah, those lines were wonderful.
Yeah.
Not really. The script writing is so bad, but like I said, they have a formula that they follow, but the script
nobody cares about the story.
No, but like the lines are terrible. I could have been speaking gibberish and it could have had the same. The same effect. Same effect. Which basically, I just mouthed the words at some point. Like it's the movie. The movies aren't. They're bad, but they're not like terrible. But they're fun to make.
They're bad fun.
Yeah, they're bad fun. They're like stupid fun. They're gory. They're tits and ass, and they're fun to make. It's just there's not much in the story.
Let's put it this way. Do you know a guy named Matt Valena?
No.
Asian guy, he lives up there. Anyway, so I asked him if he wanted to be in Naked Cannibal Campers too. So I asked him last night, and he said, can I see the script? So today I said, I attached the script. If you are looking for Citizen Kane, this is not it. This movie is about tits and gore. If you want to work on a fun set and get a credit, this is the movie for you. If you are looking for an acting award or a serious role to further your career, look elsewhere.
Yep.
And that's exactly what I told him. Like, that is the absolute truth of what we're doing.
But like that's that's their formula. They make these movies where tits, ass, and gore, and they have they know exactly what they're gonna make. They know exactly who their audience is.
We know what our fan base wants.
Yeah, so they deliver it,
and we spoon feed it to them, and they keep buying it.
Yeah. So
As long as they keep buying it.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm waiting for where Shawn starts to do some more script writing chops, and literally my line through the entire Naked Cannibal Campers is,
now you're talking.
That was my line. Now you're talking. Almost in every goddamn scene. Now you're talking. I'm like, motherfucker.
We didn't realize that
it was
he kept
every
saying
scene.
this. He kept saying this line through the whole movie. I didn't realize it. I was like, I didn't realize the script. It was in the script, and I was like, why does he keep saying now we're talking like this whole movie? So it became like this running joke.
Yeah, I was gonna make T-shirts. Like it was like ridiculous.
So now it's like a drinking game, right? Whenever Tony says now we're talking, you gotta.
Now you're talking. Take a shot. You'll be drunk by scene 5.
Exactly.
It was ridiculous. But like I said,
I know.
They're fun to make. Just don't expect any awards for it.
You're not gonna further your career by being.
No, but like I said, they're just fun. Meet a great group of people. Like we're just having fun. And it's just, the women on our we work with these women for many movies, so like we have very close relationships with them. Like it's very good. It's a great, comfortable cast where we're just every time we get together, it's just fun. We just bullshit.
However, we are serious about it. We're there to shoot a movie.
Right.
We're not there to screw off. And you know, the way we shoot our movies is we constantly go. We move, move.
Yes.
We're not sitting around. You know how most movie sets are. You're just sitting around for 2 hours waiting for them to set up lights and all that shit.
It always feels like you're wasting your time.
Yeah.
So, I like when you're going. Showing stuff.
We use a lot of natural lighting. We don't screw around. We shoot and shoot and shoot and shoot. And like I said, we shot a feature in 5 days.
Wow,
that's crazy.
legit.
Yeah, that's
That's
crazy.
legit. Yeah.
So I like smaller projects like that, and I would like to get involved with you on a couple small projects too. Pretty much in the near future.
Absolutely.
I'm still building.
That's the only reason why he asked you to be on the show.
No, it's not. I've been friends with him forever.
Yeah, no, I know, brother. I know, brother. Yeah.
I've been friends with him forever. We've been keeping in touch. I don't know, since day one. Like, honestly.
Yeah, day one.
Absolutely. So, but yeah, it's just just navigating this thing we call life, pretty much in our actors' life and industry. We just want to make stuff. We just want to have our art show and yeah.
Yep.
And I just wish I got more roles with more better lines. Yeah, substance and lines.
Write something.
I am writing. I'm writing a TV show.
There you go.
So that's something that I'm very passionate
if you want
about.
To be a DP or a director or or whatever, do it. Do it yourself.
And when that,
I wanted to be a director, so I wrote my own script. I got my own crew, and I did it myself.
Well, that's exactly why I built this company. That's why I built this company of Two Step Entertainment. I'm doing everything myself. Like, I'm producing everything. Like, this show, I'm producing. Like I have a YouTube channel, the podcast. I'm literally doing as many projects as I possibly can to get my name out there. I also build websites. So I'm literally just trying to give myself as much exposure as possible. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And you add more value to studios. Like, even the small budget. Like, if like me knowing how to do websites, that's a major plus for small studios and independent movie makers. Like, I can build websites for your movie. Like there's just a lot of different things that we try to help with ourselves, and try to get more involved. And that I am writing a TV show, writing a movie, actually 2 movies, but it's just finding the budget for it is the most difficult part. But
you don't need no budget. I just told you we made a movie with $1,100.
Yeah, no, I know, but I don't want to write like a low budget movie. Like, it's going to be a little like comedy is more expensive to write than horror.
You need like funny people to deliver the
lines. Yes, you do. But you also need better sets, because in horror movies you just cut somebody up anywhere, but in comedy you have to have like full sets. Like, you have to build a whole story. With horror movies, you gotta have a killer walk in the room and just stab somebody in the eye. Like, that's over. You can do that anywhere. You can do it in a car. You can do it in a shower. You don't need anything. Like, you literally just have an outhouse and just kill them. Like, there's not much you can with the horror movies. There's not much art to it unless you're like M. Light Shyamalan. Oh no, Chris, I've worked on all your movies, a majority of your movies. There's no art there.
In your opinion.
The art is in the is in the way they shoot it, I guess. You know what I'm saying? You tell them, Chris.
Eye of the beholder, right? I guess
it's hard to make.
That's right.
It's hard to make something scary and
and
effects look good, like they look real.
Yeah,
that's hard.
The right jump cut, man. Yeah.
They just cut my head off in every movie.
How Alfred Hitchcock or James Wan, how they can build an atmosphere.
Yes.
And just basically with camera movement. I mean, that's an art, to scare somebody.
Yeah, it is.
Music too.
Yeah. So you got anything coming up, Shawn?
Yeah. A matter of fact, I've kind of diversified myself a little bit. I actually, at one point, I quit my regular job just so I can leave.
Nice.
And I wanted to get away from the corporate grind and do some DJing. So I ended up DJing in Myrtle Beach for about a summer, and then they just recently called me up and asked me to come back out. So I DJed there again. So between DJing every weekend or so, every once in a while, the next project is that one that I just auditioned for. Then I got another project I'm trying to bring down to Atlanta. Then I got a couple other ones that I'm writing. I'm writing a TV series that has 4 spin-off movies coming from it too. So that's the biggest one that I'm working on right now. And then I want to do some more poetry. I did a lot of spoken word poetry for a long time. So I think now with the advent of social media and so on, I want to do some more of my poetry and put it on my own YouTube channel. I got a YouTube channel now, but I want to kind of build up my content and so on.
Yeah.
And then the relationship coaching and that kind of stuff. And then that's it. You know what I'm saying?
So if they said, Shawn, you can be a TV star or you can be a movie star, which would you pick?
I would definitely pick movie star.
Yeah. Good choice.
I enjoy. Well, I'll put it this way, because I think there's a slight difference. I love the way
there is. Yeah.
The episodics that you see on Netflix, like you can literally become a big name star.
Oh, of course.
Yes.
Literally over the course of a weekend. So if I had a chance at an episodic, I think I would do that. TV shows are cool, but it's like you got to do it once. like over and over and over again.
Right.
Whereas with the episodic, you're shooting. Remember how like you
Yeah.
were saying, Chris, you would just go in and shoot everything. I think with those episodics, it's like a long ass movie.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the way I see it. If I had an option, it would definitely be episodic, then movie, then television.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, syndicated television is where it's at, though. Like the Big Bang Theories, the Friends. But there's all.
Right.
But
I think that's a dying breed, though, man. Like, there's nothing. Like, once Big Bang Theory went off, like, what else is there right now that's
right now
like a
there's nothing.
long-running TV show?
But I think
There's not
streaming
any.
television did that. I think streaming did the fact that
Oh,
you
yeah,
have
Netflix
like
is-
Hulu and Netflix and all those.
Yeah.
it really
Netflix
took away from those.
revolutionized
Oh,
the
yeah.
entertainment
Well,
industry.
because everyone binge watches everything
Right.
all at once. So
Right.
And that's genius
Right.
that they release all 10 episodes, at one time, and you can just sit there and watch them all in 2 days. Like, it's amazing.
unless you're Marvel,
Right.
I love
unless
that.
you're a Marvel, and
Yeah,
you put
but
everything
guess what
once
Chris
a week.
does? Chris doesn't wait. Chris waits till Loki is done and then sits there and watches it in 2 days.
Because then you get all the spoilers.
I don't
you
want
get all the
sit
people that
there and
spoil
watch
stuff.
that shit every
No,
week.
you
I
just
hate
gotta
that.
avoid those people or put them on block on Facebook. Be like, look, don't tell me anything. I haven't watched it.
Exactly.
Leave me alone.
Exactly.
I'm not talking to you right now. Leave me alone until I finish this.
But
I
that's
want to wait.
that's like 8 weeks.
And it's so funny because if you asked me to go and watch a 3.5-hour movie, I'd be like, hell no. But then I'll sit there and watch a 45-minute per episode, 10 episode show.
Yep.
And it's
Yep.
like, wait a minute.
yeah.
You're basically just watching a really long movie when you're watching
Exactly.
like
Exactly.
a
Yeah.
Netflix
Exactly.
original or whatever.
Well, I like
Yeah.
those. I like them too because they build out the story a little bit more. Like Loki,
Yeah,
like it could be a long movie.
It's all
but-
about character development.
Yeah.
Man. Like the longer the show, I mean, the more you can dive into each character and show their
Exactly.
backstory and what they're about. And, it's hard to do that in a movie. And I think the Marvel movies, especially like for instance, the last, I'm not gonna say last Spider-Man 3 with Venom and Sandman, like they didn't develop Venom at all in that movie. Like they just kind of showed Eddie Brock and then threw Venom in at the end.
Yeah.
And
Right.
I felt like the movie should have been a lot longer, and they just do it the right way and develop both characters. But now, I mean, like Avengers, like there's a million freaking characters, and they're developing them by having separate movies. And then they're throwing them into an Avengers movie, and you don't care about the character development in the Avengers because you already know everybody's story. But now that they're making Marvel series, I think it's more about developing the characters and filling the gap between this movie and that movie.
Right.
Now is what they're trying to do with WandaVision and
Right.
Loki and all
I think with the Venom movie too, it's an unfortunate thing to see in a lot of these. I think they depend on the credo of the background, like the people who already know who Venom is.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So, like for instance, if you had never heard of who Venom was and you watched the movie, you'd be like,
You're
well,
lost. It was just a
I didn't feel
photographer
anything,
that was kind
but
of a
when you
dick
know
and-
who Venom is and you've read the comic books and you've been involved in it, you
Right.
kind of step in having that preconceived notion as to
yeah.
who they are and describe it in your head. But I agree. Like,
It's funny because
I think-
whenever they do a reboot, it's always Joe Davison last week said about Spider-Man, like why do we have to see his backstory every time they make a new reboot of Spider-Man?
for the people who don't know him.
Right, but it's also like I like that. Like Man of Steel, when they did Man of Steel, I felt like the character development was really lacking in that movie, and I hated that movie because of it. They didn't really show a lot about Superman growing up and all that stuff. They didn't show any of it, and it was just almost like, oh, you guys already know who Superman is. Here he is.
Right.
And
Well,
I didn't like
Let's
that.
just move on.
Yeah, I didn't like that. So I think character development is super important, and that's what these series are able to do. Is like really, and they're usually a lot slower moving, which I don't mind. I know a lot of people really don't like slower stuff, but I don't mind it as long as it's getting to a point and there's an end and there's a story. I don't mind that because I've seen some movies or shows that were just like long drawn out and there was no payoff. And I'm just like, what did I just watch?
Have you auditioned for any like Marvel stuff up there? I know they shoot in Atlanta a lot.
I have auditioned a couple times for a few things, but sometimes you're in a batch with everybody because you're not just competing against people in Atlanta when you're in Atlanta. You're competing against everybody in LA as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it's no joke down here.
Yeah.
And I still got to find myself a full-time agent down here. That's up the chops. I have 3 agents right now. I still have my original agent from Virginia. Then I've also got an agent in North Carolina, and then I got an agent here. But I need to find somebody, some more agents, a more solid agent in this area that does more film.
Yeah.
The one I got now is predominantly for like model stuff, and I really haven't done a whole lot of model stuff. So
Let me ask you a question. If you auditioned for a role and got the role, and you were kind of excited about it, and your agent told you not to do it, would you do it?
I'd have to have a really good reason why not to do it, because I do understand that the politics behind some films makes it a worthwhile bit of advice to just follow the agent. I have had agents say, you know what, I don't think this is a good part for you, because they know it's going to pigeonhole you because you might have done several in the past. But I don't think I've reached that level quite yet. But yeah, it depends upon, like, especially if it was my agent in Virginia, if she told me not to do it, no questions asked, I just wouldn't do it, because I know she has my best interest in heart. I know her intentions. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, for our industry, well, for the independent movies, the horror movies that we do, I mean, I could see that. You know, some people don't want their agent, or their agent doesn't want their actors being associated with some of the titles
Exploited. Just say exploited.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
but you know, some agents don't want their actors to be in exploited films, so they don't want to. So I can understand that, which it makes a little bit more sense coming from an actual, you know, established actor, and so, you know, that definitely helps that.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know, but with that said, I just want to say thank you, Shawn Singletary, for joining us on the Killer Collab podcast.
I appreciate it, fellas. I appreciate y'all having me on.
Yeah, it was nice to meet you, man.
Thank you for
Yes,
coming.
sir.
Thank you for coming on. You're welcome anytime. If you have anything any projects that you want to promote next time, or you have any projects that you want to promote now, you know, shout it out. But if you do, please just let me know if you want to come back on and promote that next project, and you know, you're more than welcome.
I most definitely will. I appreciate the platform. Thank you so much, gentlemen.
Thank you so much. As always, I'm joined with Chris Lato from Reaper Films, and my name is Tone Deaf in Florida, Tony D. And yes, the Lightning won Game 1 Stanley Cup playoffs.
Game 3 tonight.
Tampa Bay!